Well, thank you so much, Damien, for joining us on the podcast today. We are so excited to have you.
Woohoo!
Yeah, this is a good time.
Tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got started in the industry, how long you've been in the industry, etc.
Sure. So my name's Damien. I'm a team leader at the Accelerated team and co-well banker, the Minneapolis Lakes office. And to know about myself, I mean, I grew up here. I grew up in Minneapolis. I'm actually a city kid. I grew up northeast.
Oh, really?
Yeah, northeast Minneapolis. A lot different back then. It's more industrial. But I mean, I grew up my entire life there. Went to St. Charles, was an altar boy, played basketball, and then went to high school at St. Anthony. And from that standpoint, I went from St. Anthony to a school up in North Dakota called North Dakota School of Science on a basketball scholarship. I played there 2 years, and then I played my last 2 years of basketball at a school in Kentucky called Cumberland. So yeah, that really kind of dictated, where I went to college. And then also, it was great because it paid for my education. When I graduated, I didn't have any loans or anything like that. So it was fantastic. Wow. It was a great experience. I mean, I love basketball, and I think a lot of what I did there, and we'll talk about this more on, has to do with athletics. It has to do with what I learned, being a student athlete, playing college basketball, being disciplined, having that accountability. I think that's big. So enough about that. So when I transitioned back, I spent about 20 years on the commercial side of retail. So a lot of lease negotiations, companies like Abercrombie and Fitch, Gap, Pottery Barn, Williams-Sonoma. So I spent a lot of time doing that. And then, when COVID happened, I really transitioned from that side of things to getting on the residential side of real estate.
Okay. Working
for myself. So that was really I thought it was a better avenue. I do feel that a lot of
you came in at the right time.
Yeah, I mean it was and the thing is I was able to transition very well just because I had a good idea of like negotiations is like a big thing. I mean, because you're dealing with some of these malls and some of these guys are they're beyond jerks, and you just got to find a way around it. You know what I mean? You got to find a way to make those things happen. So that's kind of how I got started into this.
And it kind of leads to my next question is like, share with our listeners is like the value or the strategy of like how you bring, because of having that commercial background, right? Like that puts an edge to you differently and like how you service your clients. So tell us a little bit about like what kind of tips or tricks that other agents could implement that you've learned along the way.
Well, the one thing that helps, first of all, is I'm from here. I mean, and I've lived in the city. I've built 2 houses. I bought a foreclosed house. So I understand the process. But I think being on the commercial side of everything is like, there's a lot of things I can pinpoint pretty quick when I go into a house that, that obviously a home inspector will do, but it's going to help us streamline the process as well. I can find out if there's an issue with the roof. I can find out issues with the building permits, any of that kind of stuff. I try to do my homework ahead of time to save us time and save my clients time when we're going through the entire process. So, I mean, I would say, and the other thing is from a negotiating standpoint. I mean, it's like, I've had great experience with that. And I was lucky enough to work for these companies that would send you to courses or, to what do you call those things?
Like webinars.
Webinars, not a webinar. Before COVID. Seminars. That's what they are. Yeah, you go there and you would go to these things and you just learned a lot. And I think that's really what I think helped when I came aboard right away was how I could communicate, how we could strategize, and then how you can solve problems. Because I always say this. This job is more about solving problems than it is about selling homes. 100%. I mean, it's just like when you find the right home, but you have to solve the problems. Like, how do you get there? What happens when you get, then there's like, you need to have a contingency plan in place because someone dropped the ball in the whole process. And I think the thing is a lot of people just throw their hands up and they're like, I don't know what to do. And I think that's where the value with me and obviously with David as well is that we've had great experience solving problems. And it's like, we don't let something just fall apart. We'll find ways to make it work. I mean, if you're under contract with me, I got to get you to that table. And it's like, if the lender dropped the ball, then I'm gonna put you with the lender that's going to fix it. If title dropped the ball, then I'm gonna put you with the title company that's going to fix it.
But the title company never drops.
Title never does that.
Not if it's all American.
Never drops the ball.
No, not if it's Nikki. No, but I think that is where I think that we can help out because I mean, when you're doing commercial, especially in retail, when you're trying to negotiate, you're trying to negotiate like what your monthly payment is. I mean, there's times I've negotiated where I was able to get that store in that mall and we didn't pay any rent. Because the reality is if we pulled the store off from the mall, they would lose foot traffic. So we had more value. It was more value for us to be in there than for us to pull out and not pay any rent.
Wow.
Was that Abercrombie and Fitch?
It was not. It was not. It was not Abercrombie and Fitch. It was a different retailer. But I think the thing is that, that was just, those are the tools that I learned.
Yeah. That are able that you can implement, and negotiation, especially. I mean, obviously that's been important for years, but especially in the market that we're in right now, it's a necessity.
You got to know when you have the power and when you don't.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just what it comes down to.
And you have to educate your clients to know when they have the power and
right.
They don't, right? Like based on, how far can we really go here or not?
Like if you have a client that is not going to be competitive, it's the first day in the market, the worst thing that you can possibly do is probably put an offer out there right away so someone can use it to shop it against. That's what I do. I mean, if someone comes in with a weak offer and we have multiple offers, it's going to drive the price up.
Right.
It's evaluate. If you know that you're going to be contingent on something, you really need to focus more on days on market, those properties. And you got, like you said, educate your client on that so they're not getting their hopes up and then all of a sudden being depressed if they lose.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So especially with the residential side of things, every transaction, I mean, commercial too, every transaction is different. Your clients are going to be different. So how do you customize the transaction to fit the needs of your clients? And how do you make sure that you're fulfilling those needs with like specific questions that you ask or just things that you do? Can you give the audience some advice?
I would say being in the corporate setting for 20 years, I went through situational leadership, and I think that's extremely important. So I was able to take that skill set from a situational leadership standpoint and really utilize that with my clients. I mean, you're not going to obviously, because when it comes down to it, you are leading your clients. You're leading them through the process.
They have no idea.
No clue. I mean, some of them don't even know where to begin, and they tell you that. So I think the thing is like from a situational leadership standpoint, we know the clients that are first-time home buyers. We know the clients that are going to be high maintenance, that are going to be low maintenance. So I think identifying that early and then getting them set up with the right people can make your life 100 times easier. I mean, it's like, I think the most important thing when you meet a client is no matter what, if they're pre-approved or not, we always meet them. We meet them at a house face to face. We want to get to know them. And then I try to get as much information as possible from them. As much.
Do you have like leading questions that like, besides homes and stuff like that, or like how many bedrooms and stuff? I mean, do you have specific leading questions to narrow down to get to know them as much? Or are you like...
I always start with something. Where are you from? Where'd you go to high school at? Something that's very similar. I mean, the thing is I've been lucky enough to travel the entire country over and over again. I have a pretty good knowledge of things that have happened or have something I can relate to. Yeah. So I usually start there, then we transition into something else. And so it's like, if I start off with saying, well, how many bedrooms are you looking for? It just sounds cheap, right? It sounds like, I don't know what I'm doing. I lack confidence. But I think the thing is getting them comfortable talking to, everyone likes talking about themselves.
100%.
Who doesn't, right? You know what I mean? It's like, tell me, where'd you go? Where are you from? Oh, that's great. What do you like about that area? And then they'll tell you about it. Then it transitions into, what do you like about this house? What don't you like about this house? And I think the thing is if you can pinpoint that down, it can really streamline the process.
Absolutely. It helps you understand the context of the situation too, like how quickly they need to find a new house or like why specifically they're looking for a new house. And it helps you be able to serve them even better.
Yeah, no one likes to waste time.
Right.
And so like the people that on my team that I've trained, we have 2 guys on our team that I've trained. It's like, I always tell them, I'm like, what did you learn from each time you go out? Like if someone says this bedroom's too small, okay, then any other house that they want to see, get the bedroom measurements, and if the bedroom measurements are the same size or below, don't take them.
Yeah, it's a waste of your time as well.
Yeah, everyone's wasting time. And so it's like, I think it's just getting those guys, just getting everyone to understand that, get on the same page, and it's going to streamline the process so much faster and so much better.
So tell us, because you kind of referenced the team here, tell us about the team and how, like, forming the team, how has that contributed to your success?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, so I worked at another brokerage prior to this, and a really good peer friend of mine, David Brandner, and me were, we were very successful there. And in this industry, it's like I don't know if you heard of the recruiting portal now, or the NCAA, where everyone just like goes in this portal and gets recruited. Right. It kind of feels like that's what real estate's like. I can't believe how many people contact. It's like I'm living like I'm 18 years old again, getting recruited to play college basketball all over again. And I think what it was is you know, if we were going to leave, if I was going to leave, I wanted it to be like for a step up. Like I wanted to run my own team. I wanted to, you know, I've managed people before, and a lot of people aren't going to take a chance on you on that. But between me and him, we had 45 million in sales, and Coldwell Banker did. And they allowed us to form our own team. And, you know, and I think that was a huge, you know, that was a big thing for us, is to do that. And I don't think we could have done that at our last brokerage. And I think a lot of other brokerages that recruited us didn't want us to do that either. And it's been very successful for us. I mean, we came up with the accelerated team. I mean, if you think about it, like, what class would you rather go to? Beginner's yoga or accelerated yoga? It always sounds better. Right? It just sounds better, right? And anything that's accelerated sounds better. So we kind of came up with that name. It's better than Troupe and Brand or Realty. I mean, it's so cheesy. Yeah, you don't want to do something like that.
I like that.
I love that. Was that at Ciaobella too?
What's that?
Did you decide that at Ciaobella?
No, we decided the accelerated team, I think, during the process. Okay. That was not a Ciaobella. that was not a Ciaobella marketing situation. Yeah, so those were good times. Yes.
So how did you manage that transition? How, like, with being a leader and a real estate agent, how do you balance your time?
I mean, to be perfectly honest with you, I don't want to report to anyone. I don't want to coach. And I think the thing is, if I wanted to have somebody that I reported to, then I would have stayed in the corporate side. It was easy. It was, you know, it's something I was very familiar with. It was a steady paycheck, steady bonuses, all that kind of stuff. I didn't want that. And I don't think David wanted that either. So we just don't want to report to anybody.
No, and you are reporting to each other, right?
Right.
In a way. I mean,
I think our relationship
more of an accountability partner kind of thing.
Sure, but I mean, it's like we have, it just gels very well.
Yeah,
it does. I mean, I don't. Have you guys ever seen the movie The Internship?
Yes, with Anne Hathaway and Robert De Niro?
No, it's with Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson. They go work for Google.
Yes,
you've seen it.
Yes.
That's us in a nutshell. Like, we're the Vince Vaughn. We want to be the Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson of real estate. I mean, that's what it is. I mean, we did a marketing campaign that was, you know, kind of comical. And so I think the thing is like, that's just our mindset. That's our attitude when we go into meetings. That's the kind of, you know, personality that we have. And I think it works really well from that standpoint. And again, we don't need a coach. I mean, I get there's people out there, there's agents out there that are like, coaching is so important and having my coach do this and do that. I grew up playing sports. I played college basketball where you got up at 5 a.m. every day, you lifted weights, you had to go to class, then you had to go to practice, then you had to do training table where you had to eat the stuff they gave you, then you had to do film, and then you had study hall. I don't need a coach to motivate me.
Right. You're disciplined enough already.
And I think the thing is like, I'm not going to waste my money on someone telling me what I should be doing already when I already know what I'm supposed to do. And I think that's part of the, you know, the other agents that we have on our team. I mean, we have two other ones. Nick, he's a professional football player for the Green Bay Blizzard. He kicks field goals for him. He's a field goal kicker. And then even though Sam, I don't think played college athletics, the guy looks just like Cristiano Ronaldo. Oh. Yeah, we got to get him in a commercial. So, I mean, we have to. Next commercial, he's in. So, yeah, I mean, that's kind of how we form the team. And and I'm going to be honest, I love it. I love working with athletes. Because there's just a lot of things that, you know, they're on time, they're self-disciplined, they know how to deal with adversity. And in this industry, you have to have a short memory. You guys know how it is. I mean, people lie all the time. You know, someone says they don't have an agent, they do have an agent, this and that. And so the thing is, you have to have a short memory. You got to be able just to forget about it and move on and learn from it right away. And so, I mean, that's kind of like how our team dynamics really are.
Where can people find you if they want to join the team? Or maybe you're like, no one can join the team, but maybe I have to edit this.
I mean, we do not, at this given point in time.
How about where can people find you if they want advice?
Like Instagram.
Yeah.
Instagram, 100% Instagram. It's, you know, Accelerated Team. It's Accelerated or Damien Troupe Realtor. You can either contact us there, or you can contact us via phone. But I think the thing is, from a team standpoint, I mean, I know that we're looking to grow. We're just not looking to do it now. Okay. And I think it's got to be the right dynamic. I really do. And I think, and we've had people contact us that want to be part of it. But, you know, I think right now I think part of the problem is some people grow too fast.
Yeah.
And the thing is like we want to make sure that we're able to, you know, if we're going to give out leads to like our agents, we want to make sure that they're getting their their equal amount of leads, or they're getting a fair share of leads. We don't want them just to come aboard with us just so we can collect a part of their personal sales. That's we don't care about. We don't want that. I think the thing is so I don't think bigger is always better. I think smaller and more strategic and more personal is better, and the right person. You got to have the right person.
It needs to be like mutually beneficial too. So I like that, because I think a lot of times people are focused on like, I want to be on the biggest team and everything, but there are definitely other factors that you need to consider before that.
Right. I mean, I just think the thing is, it's just what our niche is. And we're not for, I would say we're probably not for everybody, but there's some agents that flourish very well at bigger brokerages. We're just, and I think the thing is like, we like it, how we run it. There's no drama. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. It's the greatest thing in the world. There's no one micromanaging anybody. There's no coaches. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's we're in it together. And our focus is we're going to outwork people. If someone calls at 11 o'clock at night, we're going to answer. And, because if we don't, guess what? They're going to call somebody else, and they will. They'll call Zillow, they'll call Realtor, they'll answer, and they'll get the answer. And they're going to keep going until they get the answer to their question. So
well, God bless. I'm sleeping at 11.
Yeah, I know. I've been sleeping for about an hour and a half by 11.
You can't do that in real estate. That's when the deals happen. You know what I mean? You got to get
true.
You write the offer and you have the expiration clause in there by 8 o'clock in the morning or 9 o'clock in the morning. They got to make a decision quick, and you can capitalize some ways,
Very smart.
Yeah. You got to. You just got to be able to do it when you can do it. So,
yeah. So overall, like, what piece of advice would you want to leave our listeners with, whether that's going out on your own, doing your own thing, or whether that's customizing the experience for your clients, anything?
I mean, I could probably tell you both about what I would do as an agent and also what I would do if I was a client listening right now, or like a customer looking right now. I think the biggest misconception is what the media tells you. It's awful. I mean, they tell you, we're going to go through what we went through in 2008 again. We're going to do this and do that. None of it makes sense. I mean, if you look at the actual inventory of the houses that were built, I think the best stat that I've seen so far was from Keeping Current Matters. And it's that we built, 22 million houses less from 2010 to 2019. We just didn't stop having people during that period of time, right? We say, we're going to cut it by 75%. We're going to cut the population by 75% as well. No, that didn't happen. The only decade that we built less houses was the Great Depression. And so what I keep trying to tell my clients is that we're just not going to, it's just the situation is when, COVID happened, we had that right mix where the interest rates dropped, where people are like,
silly.
Oh, it's crazy, right? 2.73%. And so I think the thing is that we're still going to have an inventory shortage for a period of time. And I think right now, if you're a client, if you're a customer, and you're looking to buy, the first and most important thing to do is obviously call the accelerator team. That's the first thing, because we'll take care of you. But the second thing is get with the lender. I mean, get with the lender that knows what they're doing. And I think the people that we recommend, they work weekends. They know what they're doing. They're honest with people. If you're a credit repair, they're going to tell you you're a credit repair. They're going to tell you what you can afford, and they're going to pinpoint down your payment to what it actually is. And I would say, get to the point where you can find a house, marry the house, but don't marry the rate, because the rates are going to drop again. So I don't think, don't listen to the media. Get with an agent that knows what they're talking about, that's familiarized with the inventory out there, because we're still running into multiple offers. They're still happening. I just sold one this weekend that had multiple offers. So it was fantastic. But I mean, it's still happening out there. If it's priced right, they're going to sell at multiple offers. So that's what I would tell if you're a customer. If you're an agent, I think the most important thing that you can do right now is just meet as many people as possible. I'm going to go back to again saying this job's more about, in my opinion, it's more about solving problems than it is about selling houses. It's like, who are the people that you've met? Like, let's say here's a great example. Somebody was at their final day and closing, the money didn't go through, the bank dropped the ball on it. And then I had somebody buy the house in cash and sell it back to them, contract for deed, so we could get it. Right? You got to be able to make those connections. And the only way you do that is by going out, introducing yourselves, demonstrating courage. I know people don't want to demonstrate courage sometimes, but you got to demonstrate courage to meet people. It's okay to be new. It's okay to be a beginner. It's totally fine. I mean, and so I think that's what I would tell agents. The other thing I would tell them is you got to have a strong social media presence. I know you guys talked to Sarah earlier, and me and her were business partners together. We sold a number of houses together, and she does a fantastic job with that. The Kelly Brown team is, in my opinion, they're the best at it. They are. I mean, they're literally the best at it. And I think what you want to do with that if you're a new agent is you don't have to get to their level right away. I mean, it took them time to get there, and they've really mastered it. But the thing is like, get your social media going. And I always say this, if you can get a potential client to follow you on your personal page of Instagram, they're going to be a client you're going to close. More than likely they are. And I think the thing is like, but you don't have to have a own page that's just, we have the accelerated team, but there's stuff I post on my personal page that has to do with real estate, but it's also lets people see who I am as well.
Yeah.
Right? You know,
they want to work with you because they feel like they know you.
Right. Absolutely. And it's like, they feel comfortable around you. You know what I mean? So it's, you know, whether it's a picture of your pets, your wife, your daughter, basketball, whatever it may be. So that's the advice I'd give new agents out there is just hit it hard.
Yeah.
You have to.
I love that advice.
It's not going to come to you.
Well, and whether it's social media or going out and meeting new people, like you're never going to get past that phase of feeling like a beginner if you don't just start doing it.
Right. I mean, it's
coming from personal experience.
Well, it's like you hear all the time. It's like if you're a new agent, well, you know, 85% of them don't make it a year. Who cares what that stat is? I played basketball and I got a scholarship in college, and it was 1% of the people that play high school get a full scholarship in basketball. I didn't worry about the other 99%. And I would just say the same thing. Don't worry about the 85% that fall off. Focus on doing what you're supposed to be doing. If you need a coach, get with a great broker that's going to mentor you, that's going to put you in a position to do the right things, and go out and meet as many people as you possibly can, because that's how you solve problems.
Mic drop.
I love that. Well, thank you so much. This has been outstanding. Thank you.
Thank you guys.